All right, everyone, what's good? So since the last video, we've seen a nice reversion bounce across the market. We did indeed see it get capped at the H4 money noodle, the H4 trend. So where can we expect price to go now? Can we expect it to trade lower? Can we expect it to trade higher? We'll cover that later in the video. We're also going to go over some stuff on Ethereum, others, and a few alt charts I'm watching. Before we do that, please like and subscribe to this video. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So the weekly chart here, still nothing to be bearish on. This is completely fine in terms of what it's doing. It's just in a range, you know, looking at the weekly trend here, we're holding it, we're holding the range low, we are holding that weekly demand. So where can we look at it a bit more locally? In terms of what's happening here, we are just like looking at a range. So we basically just want to play range theory and do business at the extremes. Now we can see we rejected at the EQ, bang on. So the middle of the range. We came up, we rejected off that. If we go to the 4 hour, we can actually see the 4 hour money noodle capped it there as well. We did come down and not make a sweep overnight. And this is the perps pair on Bybit. Binance looks the same. So basically we left these sort of relative equal lows down here. I do think as long as the money noodle and the range EQ cap price, we could probably see you know, the potential for that to be run. Maybe run it into the range low, maybe explore more of this demand, maybe deviate, get back inside. We don't know yet, but you can pretty much draw this as a line in the sand right now. So this is roughly around 115.3K, give or take. So, you know, between 115.3, between this structure level up here, that is at 115.8. So we can just say between 115 and 116, we're looking for a flip. I think we get continuation to the upside on BTC. Once we flip the H4 noodle, once we flip the range EQ, then we can look for the range highs. Pretty much lines up with this point of breakdown over here at roughly 121K. Until that happens, I just think we're in that environment of just bracketing between these 2 points. So we can actually switch to VWAP as well. If we go to the monthly here, you can see we're now trading back inside previous month's value. We're just bracketing between the lows and the highs. So these dashed lines here indicate previous month's value. This is developing monthly value up here in the gray band. But you can see, if we just ignore this part up here, we are just bracketing between these 2 points. So, you know, just indicative of a range bound environment right now. You know, in terms of like the developing, we got back inside it when then we sold back under, and now we're sort of rejecting off the low again, also rejecting off previous month's VWAP. So something to pay attention to there. I do think we just sort of continue to bracket for a bit as stated, but that is something we can watch for right now. It's simply these lows to get run, and maybe we do that thing that I discussed in the last video of backfilling 50% of the wick. So if I just get rid of the indicators here, pull it on the daily from the close of the body to the wick low. So that gives you the range EQ of the wick, which lines up, as you can see here. The red line is the 50% level, actually lines up at the bottom of the range. So roughly around 107K. I think we can come and revisit that again. Do I think we get down into the wick low, down around 101K? Possibly, but I think it's less likely. I do think, however, we have a much better chance of just doing business at the range extremes, and that's where we want to see price come into. So yeah, that 107K low is still, you know, pretty good for what it is right now. I think it'd actually make a very nice trade to come down, sweep that, get some more orders filled into that weekly demand, and then look to push up. Maybe take profit, TP1 at the range EQ. If it starts to flip that, we can hold that up into the range highs and play it as so. But the TLDR is on the daily chart. This is just a range. So we are in that micro range now on the 4 hour time frame we saw, indicated by VWAP as well. But I think once we break above here, it's still just to be treated like a range, right? So this is just a giant range between 123K and 107K. We can easily bracket between this for longer than most people can stay solvent. So we just need to pay attention to that. Onto Ethereum, same thing. We are just consolidating on top of this weekly range here. So you can see very nice with a deviation of lows. Now what I am concerned about, not so much concerned, what I do have on the radar, could this also be a deviation of the highs? So if we start closing the weeklies back below 4,100, 4K give or take, if we start closing that back inside, then we have to consider that this may just be a deviation like this here. And you know, if it is, then we just need to play it accordingly and look for range rotations. Now, do I think we're coming back down to 2K? Not anytime soon, but you know, it's in the realms of possibility. All I'm really looking for is just to stay above the range high here. And we do have that very nice weekly demand. We do have the weekly money noodle there too. So, you know, all in all, it looks fine here, but if we actually go down to the daily, we can draw a range of where current price is. Yeah, so you can see just bracketing between these 2 points, we obviously filled that weekly demand, which I just removed for hygiene here. But you can see also we came up, we pretty much rejected at the range EQ of this range as well. So just paying attention to that, we did have the deviation of the lows. I think ETH actually had a better setup overnight. So if we actually look for what this is, it did come down and fill this H4 FEG overnight. and had quite a nice reaction. Sorry, my mouse doesn't seem to be doing business with me today. There we go. Thank you very much. So we did come down, we swept into that. We front ran the demand down here. We did tag this. We are still fighting with the H4 Noodle here. So you can see we briefly got above it. We pretty much rejected at the range EQ. What's up at the range EQ? Well, we also have this nice pocket of supply, this point of breakdown. So we rejected off that. We're back still trading inside the 4-hour noodle. Nothing really to action here. In terms of where I'd take trades in this, if we come back down, we would test that range low at around 3,800. Pretty good to me. Otherwise, we start flipping the H4 noodle, start flipping the range EQ. Then we can look for that push up into the highs, all-time high around 4,800. But until that point, we're still just bracketing, we can look at ETH on the VWAP as well. You can see right now, in terms of the monthly, I think the monthly has just been the best across BTC and ETH. So we'll just concern ourselves with this for the minute. You can see on the monthly, we did get back inside developing value. We sort of got back inside previous month's value. We're rejected off developing monthly VWAP, and we're now trading back under previous month's value on ETH. So there's nothing to say we can't just roll over here. We really want to see it get back above these 2 points. And the points that I just marked out were these up here on the range EQ at around 4,300. So USDT dominance, I've been chatting about this chart a lot. You can see we basically are still pushing up on this. So as long as this is pushing up, money is flowing out of risk assets, flowing out of crypto into stables. And I just think, we're sort of bracketing between 2 key points on USDT dominance as well. We did come down, give a very nice retest of this pivot level here at around 4.6%. And we're just looking for maybe we push up into these highs here at around 5%, 5.1%. But, if we do that, we're going to see a bleed off in the crypto market. So very simple with this chart, just use it as a risk on versus off barometer. If this is trending up, you want to be in stables. If this is trending down, you can start allocating back into risk assets. Now, just a few alts quickly. If anyone followed the last video, I was talking about this breakout on H. We did it sort of live on the stream at the end of the video. That actually broke out and put in a 162% move. No, I did not catch it. I wish I did. I sort of had a trigger for a pullback, or at least like a close. I think I was monitoring, on the H12. So it broke out this high, 30%. I didn't really see the RR. I'm taking a position there. But, I didn't expect it to also go 1.5x up. Is what it is, right? But nice move. You were tracking that live. I'm actually sort of watching something similar right now on Zora for anyone watching at home as we speak. Might see this breakout happen. So we are sort of confirming this diagonal here with this 4-hour push into it. What I want to see with these diagonal breaks, you generally want to see some low time frame consolidation under that level now. So maybe we start building like this on the 1 hour. That's generally a good indication that we're sort of pressuring into the level. We're going to have a pop, and then a 1 hour close above. I generally take like a 50% position, and then whatever time frame I drew the diagonal on, which was a 4 hour, once we get a close above that on the 4 hour, then I take the other 50% of a position. And this is pretty standard practice for a lot of people that trade breakouts. So you can do that. You can add Zora to your watch list. I think it's looking quite strong today. Useless. I'm kind of watching this 0.3 level. I like this 0.3 level a lot. On the daily, it is an inversion FVG in there. So, 2 FVGs stacked with each other. You can also see it's like a pretty clean SR pivot there on the 4 hour. So I'm just looking for some sort of big flush if we do get it. We are sort of forming divergences on higher time frames, I believe. No, I must have been looking at some other coin on that. Yeah, forget that. But if we do get a push down to around 0.3, I'll look to pick up some small spots on this. I think it's showing that it's the new fart coin. And once money starts flowing back more heavily into crypto, I think we see users go on a real run. Other than that, I'm going to keep it brief today. Not much to discuss. If we just go through quickly, it's just what I discussed on the last video, and all you had to do was just look for H4 noodles to cap those reversion bounces. So you can see on Asta here, H4 noodle, cap the bounce. ATH, cap the bounce. Hype, cap the bounce. HBAR, same. Kaito, pump fund didn't quite get there. Grass. So you can see every time the H4 noodle has been where price is rejected on these things. So I think in terms of where you want to sort of buy Bitcoin, and that is when it flips the H4 noodle. That was sort of the momentum trade. If it does get above there, you can take that trade. But otherwise, just look for things. If you're on the long buyer side, look for things that are above the 4-hour noodle right now. SNX looks great. It's above the 4-hour noodle. H, obviously well above it. BNB, it's below it right now, so not something you'd be interested in. Zora above it. ZEC above it. So these are the sort of things you can look at. There's actually a nice diagonal forming there too. These are the sort of things you can look at, guys, and you can make note and just put it into a watch list. So you can build a watch list like I have here. You can see all the coins I'm watching, but I actually have a list for today, what I'm watching today, and I need to clean this up because I didn't do it before stream. bit lazy lately. But you know, you can put all the things, or you can just add like a flag. You can add these colored flags on for things you're watching for the day. And you can just have a column like everything above the H4 noodle, everything below the H4 noodle. Simple as that. And then you're just scanning through and you're looking for continuation plays on retests of noodles or lower time frame noodles to the long side. And anything below it, you're just looking for that flip. Otherwise, you're just expecting it to reject like everything else has. So anyway, we can leave it there. I'll be back in a couple of days. Thank you. Please like, subscribe to the video. If you want access to indicators, you want to get more of my live commentary, Mars High Club, link in the description. And other than that, be well and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.